G'day and welcome to another episode of Kiwi Car Life. And today is going to be really rather special because this is an absolutely immaculate, pretty much all original 1998 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 5. And today we're going to be seeing what people hail as the golden era of JDM homologation rally cars is like. In terms of exterior styling, now that I've seen one in the flesh, I absolutely understand why people really like these things. The bumper is way more aggressive, has some really cool looking fog lights in it. There's vents in the bonnet up here. The inky wheels just suit this car down to a T, along with the red brake calipers and really cool looking slotted rotors. There's some massive side skirts down the side, a very tasteful Evo 5 sticker, and round back with the massive spoiler, the big single exit exhaust and those classic triangle lights. Overall it is a truly stunning looking car, and with this one having had a full respray and some really tasteful little touches here and there added by the owner, it just looks beautiful. The engine is a 4G63. It is a 2-litre turbocharged engine. It was used in pretty much every Evo up until the Evo 9, when after that they switched to the 4B11T. This particular one is stunning under the bonnet. It's had a new valve cover, it's had a whole lot of new hoses everywhere, it's got a Rally Art strut brace, a carbon fibre Rally Art cold air intake down here with a blow-off valve and everything, along with an aftermarket exhaust. It makes 280 horsepower or 206 kilowatt, although a lot of people consider that to be a little bit underrated from the factory because of the Japanese gentleman's agreement, and 380 newton meters of torque, which is pretty amazing to think this came out 20 years before the FK8 Civic Type R, and yet it makes basically the same power and torque going through a four-wheel drive system and a 5-speed manual transmission. Mitsubishi interiors have never really been their strong suit, shall we say. The Evo 10 that I reviewed, I must admit I was pretty disappointed by the interior. The exterior looked great, it drove amazingly well, and it did have some very good seats, but everything else, oh dear, it was just hard, scratchy, bland plastic everywhere. This, surprisingly, for what is a 25-year-old car, is actually a little bit nicer. The dashboard's all made out of a relatively decent and sort of somewhat soft touch vinyl. The Momo steering wheel looks and feels really nice to use. The gauges, while very simple, show all the information that you need. It still has the original tape deck radio down here, which is amazing, along with some very period correct Mitsubishi gauges down here. Transmission feel is fantastic, I've got to say. The seats are basically straight out of an Accordia RR, so they feel very familiar to me. Visibility is excellent. This one has a sunroof up here, which is very cool. A whole lot of ceiling switches, which I really like. It makes you feel like you're in a fighter plane, and overall you can tell that this is a very driver focused car, which makes you want to see how this immaculate Evo 5 drives. Driving the Evo 5, already I really like this thing, because for a 90s top of the line performance sedan, it's actually surprisingly nice to drive. It's not the quietest car ever. There's a little bit of road noise, a little bit of wind noise, and it's a touch rattly over bumps, but you know, you kind of expect that with a car of this age. And this one, despite the condition, has actually done 240,000 Ks, which is pretty staggering, really. Oh, so easy to heel toe. It's just a little bit lurchy on some of those downshifts, but the power, it's really good. And it is actually surprisingly smooth through the gears, I've got to say. Turbo comes on real quick, and you can kind of hear how much boost it's making based on the noises that you're hearing from the front, which is fantastic. Steering feel is brilliant. The whole chassis, I can just feel it communicates what the car's doing, which is just lovely. And on a hill like this, you can just turn it in. The grip from these tyres and the four-wheel drive system is sensationally good. This is the kind of road where this car just belongs, It corners flat and level, communicates really well through the chassis, and it's pretty quick, man. It really gets up and goes. Love the turbo noises. And it has just the right amount of exhaust note where it's not too loud, but it still makes, you know, a little bit of racket from behind, so you can tell that the car's sort of doing something which is so incredibly enjoyable. I have to admit, if I'm comparing this with the version 3 WRX, I think that the EJ20 sounds a bit better than this. That was my complaint with the Evo 10, is that they all just kind of sound a bit sewing machiney. And admittedly the 3rd gen was tuned, but I think it's a little bit faster too. I mean, this does go pretty good, and it's got really nice short gears, which I love. It's so easy to just go down the gears. Oh, it revs up amazingly quick for a turbo engine, eh? So would I recommend one? Well, it's certainly quick and fun and fast, but I guess the one thing that stands in its way is that now with JDM prices it is extremely expensive, and I know they have a lot of potential and they're a really unique car that you don't see around too often, and they are a lot of fun to drive. Really quick, great transmission feel, as I said, and just overall a sensational JDM driving experience. But for me, I think you can spend your 50 grand better somewhere else, but I guess it's all going to come down to what you like and what you're willing to spend your money on. Above all else, something like this will still be a sensational driving experience, and if you're prepared to put in the money, I can guarantee you're going to love it. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching this episode of Kiwi Car Life. If you want to look at some more old JDM cars, then click over here to see my review of that 3rd gen WRX I was talking about, and click over here to see my review of the Evo 10, and I will very much look forward to seeing you again next time.